The Fading Rainbows COVID-19 Remembering an Experience in the Pandemic project is about a series of resources aimed at parents and teachers to engage with their children to really help them talk about the pandemic and their experiences. There's been a series of reports by different groups that have actually shown that young people's mental health is suffering in this crisis and that it's actually trickling down onto children as well.
At the beginning of the project, we set a survey. 68% of those children who answered that survey said they either felt anxious or didn't actually have a way of expressing how they felt about something.
This really fits with what we know within LSE from a report on grief, loss and the pandemic, which talks about the problems that societies have in talking about grief and expressing loss and feelings in the midst of a pandemic. So we really wanted to draw on this report to use that as a basis, kind of framework, if you like, through art activities for children to actually be able to express themselves.
Myself and some colleagues in the International Relations Department at LSE did some research on the impact of grief on society and societal resilience. And one of the things we found out about the 1918-19 Spanish flu epidemic in this country is that it was never memorialised officially. And this has major implications for the way that society deals with these events of grief and mass loss.
In the women's collection at LSE Library, we have a scrapbook of Endell Street Military Hospital, which was a hospital that was run by women in Covent Garden during World War I. It was actually asked to stay open for a year after the war to help with the influenza epidemic. And this was the most distressing time for the hospital in many ways, because 5 of their staff actually died during this epidemic, and many more were sick. With some of these stories, we wanted to use them as a way in for children to create their own scrapbooks through arts resources, whether that's by mapping their local area, creating ideas of how they want to remember this, and looking forward to a time beyond all of this.
We have a mapping activity, which is very much focused on locality, what you consider community. We also have a memorial activity, which is very focused about remembering. And it's also very celebratory. It's about focusing on the positives and remembering people. And how do we do that in terms of socially, culturally, but very, very personal as well. We're hoping that the scrapbooks allow a way of using art to find a way for them to actually be able to either name how they feel, own how they feel, or communicate in some way visually that allows an adult, parent, carer to engage with what they've written down and what they've drawn and what they've created, so that then you can have a response backwards and forwards and an active conversation about it.
So this project's really important because not only is it helping children to deal with their emotions of this event, but it's also instilling a sense of resilience within them and within society as a whole.
This project has given us an opportunity to have a think about how we feel about this pandemic. What has changed? But also, what is going to happen next? How do we fit into the post-COVID world?